Hello everybody, welcome back. Not too much in the past few weeks. We've just been waiting on parts. Life's been happening and just out in the garage getting little stuff done. I'll just catch you up to speed on what's going on and give you some updates for some future episodes. So in regards to the Coup, everything's been going good. So I swapped the outlier bypass controller, but except I was in here with the laptop poking away. Hood was down, the engine was running, life was good, but then it got hot and overheated on me. I shut the key off and steam started boiling out from underneath the hood. Everything was still running fine. I just didn't even notice the gauge while I was sitting there. And the only thing I ended up doing is I ended up changing the fan clutch. So I put an extra heavy duty version in there because while the hood's down and the engine temperatures are hot, I just don't think the old one that was in there, it still here was the original one, that could keep up anymore. I mean, it got so hot that it melted the coil cover down here where it was hanging off one of the tabs. I saw it on the floor, it melted off and hit the floor, so I used some of this heat shielding tape from Heat Shield Products and stuck it on there and hopefully prevent any blistering paint or any more melting in the future. But I still may want to get a new coil cover as now that it's melted off at the bottom, so that was pretty disappointing. But I've been doing a little bit more with the stealth stereo. I had the battery charger hooked up just to keep the battery from going dead while I've been fiddling around. But just a note, Optimum battery chargers, I don't rate them. They're not very good. The wires suck. They keep breaking. Had to fix it a couple times. Shortened it once. The handles keep breaking. I actually turned this one, or one of these, back in the first one I had because the handle broke completely off. And they just seem to break it at non-descript times. Like you put it away, next time you get it out, oh, why's the handle broken? But I mean, functionally wise, they work well. Got some neat features for AGM batteries, but they're just not durable. They're not a really industrious item. They're just kind of cheap plastic with some functionality behind it. So, and not really good wires. But that aside, upgrades to the stealth stereo. I went and stuck some more noise deadening material, kind of like Dynamat, except they call it Noiko, up underneath. So I found out my third brake light was rattling. And then I went and installed an old 8-inch bazooka tube I had. I've had that thing, whew, man, I think it must be going on 15 years now. But it's looking pretty sorry for itself. I just used some SEM satin black paint, painted up. I even painted the straps because the straps were looking crappy. And I hid the wires the best I could. And you know, that's about as stealth of a sub as I can really deal with right now. Don't worry about, but it sounds pretty nice. I even hooked up a switch under the dash here. This is how you turn the amp on and off. It's for the subwoofer on and off anyway. Other than that, the rest of the radio functions well. Sounds good. I upgraded all the speakers because the stock ones just weren't doing it for me. Even though I said it sounded great in the last video, as good as a stock stereo could be, or stock speakers could be, they could sound a lot better. So these were kind of like wavy and distorted when I took them out. And the rear speakers, when I changed the roof, when I did the body work, I think I got some welding spatter because the speakers were still in here and they were like literally burn holes through the paper cones of you know, from little BBs, melting hot BBs going through them. So yeah, they weren't that great. So there's one on Amazon. I got some 6x8s for the rear and a little 3.5s for the front. I got kicker speakers. I like them. You can get what you want. I just advise not getting super high wattage speakers, cause like 250 watts capacity, because then you're gonna really have to put some juice in them to make them sound good. So you just don't need anything like that. I just got some reasonable replacement speakers, and I think they sound a heck of a lot better than I did before. But really happy the way that turned out. This is some of the sound deadening material I had left. There's one sheet left, so I just cut it up and stuck it up underneath the package tray. And it was at John's house because we used a lot of this on his car when we were getting it together. Another thing that I picked up was this gem. So NOS Ford Motorsport pedestal mount roller rocker kit. So I'm a sucker for original Ford Motorsport stuff. So I got my original SVO Motorsport license plate, original Ford oval license plate. So nothing I'm ever going to worry about selling, but I got these off eBay here in the UK, and a guy was selling them for £200, and once he did the exchange rate, and I think it was an extra £10 to ship it, these were still cheaper than the cheapest Proform from China rocker arms you can get off of Summit Racing. So I got these because eventually I have a set of the GT40 cast iron heads with springs, and I got new Freya exhaust valves in it, because those heads were on this motor until I just wanted to upgrade and put some Edelbrock aluminum performers on there. So those rockers will go hand in hand with those GT40 heads on something one day, maybe, if I decide to break these things out, but they're still cool to have nonetheless, and I'm kind of glad I picked them up. But yeah, not a lot else going on. Wife's birthday party was last weekend, so wasn't out here doing anything. Pete's car is gonna need some help. He went and took it for a little drive, and he overheated, starting to use a lot of water, so we think he blew a head gasket. So it's kind of odd because he has those old school TFS 170s with the O-rings and the heads, and you blow a head gasket on that. I just don't know if those old heads had a thick deck on it or anything like that, because he's had those heads for over 20 years and he's had quite a few head gasket problems. Used over nitrous and things, but we're gonna get there tomorrow night and try to pull a head off and see what he did. And I did learn that Summit finally shipped my slicks. So it's only been on back order for 3.5 months, since the end of February. But they're shipped. They should be here probably in a week or two. And we'll be getting those all those racing tires mounted on the Bogarts. And get a look at what they're going to look like on the car. So I'm kind of excited about that. Yeah, the 289. I sent the guy kind of a, dude, get the engine out of here or pay me money type thing, because it's been sitting here. He hasn't sent me any more money since mid-February, and so I think he just PayPal'd me over some money to keep working on it. So sometimes if you don't ask, you don't get. Wasn't meant to be a threatening email or anything like that to the guy, but you know, I just can't be tripping over something like that for months and months and months and not making any progress on it. I need it gone, because this Friday there's a guy coming with a 390 for me to build for an Eleanor replica 68 fastback, and he's building it off of a Dynacorn body, so he's putting a lot of money into this car. So hopefully that build will go a lot quicker and smoother, because he should have the funds to keep it rolling. And I built the 390 in my old F100, so I know my way around it pretty well, and I think we'll build something good for him. So yeah, so some things coming up, just an update, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.